Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good night, good sir, good ma'am, good guy, good marm, good lady, good gentleman, wherever you are on this great big baseball flat plain earth underneath the Astrodome, under the authority of the Houston Astros. That includes you, fallen angels, Los Angeles, Anaheim. Why do so many baseball teams seem to have broken identities? That's what happens when it becomes a business. But it's not just that. It's not just becoming a business. It's also the market, right? Shoving baseball teams into markets that really aren't big enough to support them. There's one thing that a lot of people don't realize about these Major League Sports is that they do profit sharing and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why the argument for the the American women's soccer team, the national team, why they cannot get paid and they should not get paid the same as the men's team. Because the men's team don't get some kind of pay strictly based on what they're bringing in or the money that they're making because they're playing so well or because of their popularity. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with profit sharing with all of the other teams involved. So if the men's team is part of the FIFA system, then they will get a certain amount of money based on that association. If they do better, obviously they can make more money, and the further they go in the tournament, the more money they will make. That's obvious. But the problem with the women's system is that they don't make much money. It's so saying that they should make the exact same amount of money that the men make is a ridiculous argument. I understand that they would like for that to be in an ideal world, right? In an ideal world, it would be nice if the women's teams had the same amount of support and interest. But actually, in a truly ideal world, men do what men do and women do what women do. And the truth is, not as many men or women are as interested in playing and watching sports as men are. More men are interested in watching sports and playing sports. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. It's not because of social constructs. It's just the fact of life. It's always been that way. And in the past couple of decades, we've had a lot of strange people come along and try to tell us what to believe, and that the way we naturally do things is wrong. But the two letters that I could use to describe that are B and S. It's just the way things are. Now that that's out of the way, thank you for being here at STROS. I hope that today's game is interesting. And in addition to that, I hope that the broadcast is interesting for you. I would like to say first a special shout out to those of you who are not able to join in the live chat. If you're driving or if you're doing some work or you're wherever you are in the world, I have listeners apparently all over the place in Europe, Middle East, Asia, South America, North America, maybe Antarctica. If I have any listeners in Antarctica or the Arctic or anything like that, please let me know. If you are in an area that you think is the most unique, please let me know. I'm thinking about having a contest where I try to find the most unique location in the world for one of my listeners. And whoever wins that, I will send you a postcard. I think I will do that just as a side quest. As a side contest. I'll call it a side quest, but it's a little side contest. I'll pick up a special postcard just for you if you're in some isolated region, corner of the world. You just let me know. You don't want interesting today? All right. Well, my job here is done. I'll see you later, Ken. I'm going to go ahead and log off. Go Stros. See you next time. Trust me, you do not want to listen to my broadcast if it's not interesting. Absolutely. It must be interesting. Gregory says, I always click the thumbs up button. I was the first one tonight. And you know what? I believe you 100%. I absolutely do. I absolutely do not doubt you, not even slightly. Thank you all for being here today. Gregory, Michael, Bubba. Let's see here. Casey Jones. And Ken, of course. Casey said he was second. Or are you saying Gregory was second? Who knows? Let's take a quick look at the Astros lineup today. Is it going to be big and beefy? Big and beefy like an Angus Brangus steak. Big old sloppy, thick, beefy steak. Spencer Arrighetti's on the mound for the Strizos today. Let's hope that he does a little better than he has been doing. I mean, he has shown some signs of improvement, but let's hope he can continue improving more and more and more. Shall we? Let's keep hoping. Let's keep hoping that. I'm tired of the Dodgers and the Shohei Ohtani. When are they gonna play that out? It's already old. I'm sorry. I'm just done with it. I'm happy for Ohtani, but I can't stand the Dodgers. That was the biggest mistake of his career. Ugh, freaking Dodgers. From a money standpoint, yeah, great, fine. But from people liking him standpoint, like genuine fans, no. Jeremy Pena is starting it off at shortstop. Batting second, Yordan Alvarez again in the DH spot today, batting in this 2 slot. I don't understand exactly why putting him so early. Altuve batting third at second base today. Batting fourth and is this man right here. Well, not her. Correa was just on the screen. Carlos Correa at third base batting cleanup. Juan Sanchez batting fifth in left field. Batting sixth is Christian Walker at first base. And Yainer Diaz back-to-back. So, once again, we have Walker and Diaz back-to-back, 6th and 7th. And then Cam Smith batting 8th. He's in right field. And then Mauricio Dubon batting 9th. You know, if you're not going to put Sanchez between Walker and Diaz, I would prefer Dubon to be between Walker and Diaz, at least. You know what I'm saying? Mix it up a little bit. You know, give some different look at the plate instead of 2 guys that could potentially kill the rally. You know what I'm saying? I know that Walker has been hotter recently, but that doesn't mean you put Diaz right behind him. Break it up a little. You know what I'm saying? Break it up. And by the way, Cam Smith does do better when he's higher in the batting order, so I kind of feel bad that he's just getting shuffled around. It really does mess with people mentally when you keep shuffling them around in the batting lineup. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate that. I'll do my best. Gregory says, predictions. I have the ad. I'm not sure I understand. Maybe you can enlighten me. Maybe I missed it. Ken, I have no idea. If you ask about over-under, I'm assuming that's betting, and I have no idea because I don't support betting. Don't have anything to do with it. If you ever see me promoting betting on my channel as like a sponsored ad, you can be rest assured that they must be paying me a ton of money, because that's what it's going to take for them to get me to promote betting. If they say, "Wow, we'll give you $500 a month. We'll give you $1,000 a month," I could really use that. I mean, that would be a huge help for me. But that's not enough. They're going to have to pay me a lot more than that to promote betting. Yeah, I saw earlier you said that your prediction is 8-3. I don't really have a prediction. I just have going by the stats. The stats suggest that the Astros with this lineup against this team and this pitcher should have around 7 runs, approximately 7 runs. So you're close to that. But Arrighetti is a big question mark. There's no firm way to use data to determine how well he's going to do today against this particular lineup. If he had some kind of baseline already established for himself, then we could do that. But there is no baseline established right now. So it's just a matter of luck. We'll see. Well, it's not just the sponsors. You're partially right, Ken. The betting sponsors have contributed heavily to ruining sports. Not just baseball, but they are not the primary cause. Legalized betting, legalized sports betting, that's the cause. That's what's ruined sports. Now it's everywhere. You can't. I mean, heck, when you go onto ESPN's website, I'm serious. Take a look at this. When you go, let me show you. Okay, look at this right up here. Can you see this? Right up here at the top. Right up here. This is the ESPN page for the Angels Astros game. Right underneath where it has the starting time, it has Houston 165 under. They literally are connecting the time of the game with the betting. There is no separation at all. ESPN is a freaking sports website, and they have all of the betting information on it. They've completely integrated those two things, and that's ridiculous. Spencer Arrighetti is on the mound. He's going to be facing our favorite whiner, Zach Neto. Here's the first pitch. Swing and a miss, 95 on the lower inside corner. Gregory's calling Walker and Alvarez homers tonight. I'm going to call a Pena homer and a Correa homer. I'd love to call an Altuve homer. But his last homer, he barely squeaked out, and he hasn't been hitting the ball very hard. I mean, he's been hitting it. He's been hitting hard line drives, but he hasn't been getting the beef on it. 0-1 is the count. Arrighetti with a strike against Zach Neto. Here's the pitch. 94 inside, fouled off again. 0-2. Yep, you're right. You're right, Ken. I've had actually a few different people come in, a few different subscribers come in and say it's so nice to watch an Astros live stream or podcast and not see constant ads and sponsorships for betting. I've had people tell me that. I'm like the only one. That next pitch is high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Neto. Here's a pitch. Right in the bottom of the zone, strike 3. How about that? The Swiffer 4-pitch strikeout for Arrighetti. You going to complain and whine about it? Look how beautiful this pitch is. Nice. 1 away. Yoan Moncada comes to the plate. Here comes the first pitch. Moncada takes that high and outside. Fastball, ball 1. Casey says, so then you bet on Houston and take the 165. They're better in every aspect of the matchup. I guess you're talking betting. Don't care. With all due respect, Casey, I don't care at all. Not even a little. It's betting, and betting is a destructive thing. It's an addictive, destructive thing. 1 ball, 1 strike to Moncada. Here comes a pitch from Arrighetti. That's hit hard into center field all the way back to the warning track. Dubon has enough room for it. Out number 2. Angel Frias, man of culture. Welcome in. Have a seat at the table, my friend. Absolutely. 25 left on base yesterday. 25 runners on base that were not moved, not even one base, by the Astros bats yesterday. If they could just move half of those, they would score a ton of runs. Mike Trout at the plate. Arrighetti going fishing. He starts it off with a Swiffer right in the middle of the plate, strike one. Hi, Brendan. Good to see you. Well, Casey, it's not about whether or not ESPN is accurate. Check swing and a broken bat. Mike Trout. He's gone like 18 or 19 games, I think, without a home run. Arrighetti almost forgot to get himself checked by the umpire on his way back to the dugout. But the broken bat line drive to Christian Walker on the right side ends the inning. That's it. Very easy inning there for Spencer Arrighetti with a strikeout, a fly out, and a broken bat line out or pop out to first base. That's a nice start. 9 pitches, 7 strikes. That's amazing. If Arrighetti could get out of each inning with 9 pitches, he would go 9 innings for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Pena will be up in just a moment, followed by the big man Jordan, and then Jose Altuve. I don't know. I mean, the first pitch was a sweeper right in the middle of the zone, but just because it landed in the middle of the zone doesn't mean it was a bad pitch. There was a good bit of movement on it. It wasn't flat. If it had been flat, I think Trout would have swung at it. So, but Trout also has gone almost 20 games without hitting a homer. He's not been doing very well, so I don't think Arrighetti really got away with much. Trout's in a little bit of a drought, a Trout drought. Big man on deck. But yeah, well, what I was saying is, it's not about ESPN being accurate or not. It's about betting. I'm just against betting. Kyle Hendricks is on the mound for the Broken Angels, the fallen Broken Angels, the Broken Halos. First pitch to Pena on the way, outside, the stinker. By the way, I do have a new emoticon for Jordan Alvarez, but we still need 2 more members to join the channel before I can upload it. I like me some Trout too. Trout drought. Outside again, 2-0 against the Flash. Here comes the next toss. A little low and outside. I don't know why they called that a strike. I mean, it was a little far out there. 2 balls and 1 strike. Every time I see the name Hendricks, it makes me think of that old factory in Mansfield. Almost in the same exact spot with the sinker. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wow, I just heard that this guy's fastball on average is 86.3. 89 on the inside. That's probably the fastest pitch that we're going to see from this guy today. Full count. Here comes the full count pitch. This is a chopper to the shortstop side. He's got to hurry, but he's able to get it. If that had been to third base, he might have run it and beat it out, but unfortunately, not today. Eight earned runs in 9 innings for this pitcher against the Astros just this year. Astros averaging almost 1 run per inning. Jordan is at the plate. Woo! 74-mile-per-hour curveball on the outside just drops in nice and slow for strike one. How many people do we have listening in right now? About 83. Make sure you like the live stream if you don't mind. Here comes the next pitch to Alvarez. Change up. Outside and low. Fouled off. No balls, 2 strikes. Only 30 likes. We should be over 50 right now. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Alvarez. High and inside. Ball 1 on the sinker. One out, nobody on. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. 88 at the top of the zone, fouled off. Count remains 1-2. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Jordan golfs that one out of the bottom, actually below the zone. That changeup goes foul on the third base side. Count remains 1-2. No hits, no runs. Everything is zeros right now on the bottom of the first with 1 out. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. He punches that one through, and it's going to get right over the head of Nito. Oh, he stumbles, and he hits the ground like a big baby. That was hilarious. Looks like a child. You seen children before when they fall on the ground? And they start hitting the ground? That's exactly what Zach Neto did just now. He just reached out there. Jordan reached out there and tapped it off the end of the bat. Went right over the head of Neto. And if you see Neto's reaction after he misses it, watch him when he oh, they don't show it there. Oh, now the trainers are going to come out and check on him. I don't want the guy to be hurt, but come on. Six walks for Jordan, a couple of hits, and no strikeouts since he's been back. More than 50% on base percentage right now. Already making it a factor, making himself a factor. Look, okay, look at this. Maybe they'll show it right here. Come on, show it. When he comes down, come on, hit the ground. Hit the ground. Where's it at? Oh, they didn't show it. He took his glove off. That's probably why he hurt his hand. It's probably because he hit the ground like a big baby. If he hurt himself hitting the ground on purpose, then he deserves to be hurt. It couldn't happen to a better guy. Charles says 10 runs tonight, Astros. Let's go. Doobie and Jordan having a little chit chat over at the dugout. Well, you know, that's what happened. We told you before, when you hit the locker, you can't just hit stuff. You can't just hit the ground and the wall. Man, even Correa looks like a giant compared to Altuve. All right, I'll try to stop hitting stuff, you know. Stop digging in your pants, too. You're on TV, boy. Have some respect. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, DeLion. DeLion says, can't believe Neto isn't mad at Brown. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't pull off his glove and go throw it at the bullpen. It's Hunter Brown's fault. Jose Altuve comes to the plate with Jordan on first base. Astros with 1 hit, a little single by Jordan. 1 out. Here comes the first pitch. Wow. Altuve comes around too early on that changeup and rips it right into left field, but just foul. Nice smooth swing, just got around too early. Come on, Superman. Let's see a little Altuve snap action here. A non-service connected injury. That's right. Self-inflicted wound is what it looked like to me. Outside, 1-1. Hey, San Antonio, death before dishonor. Welcome in today. Don't cheer for injuries, otherwise karma. Fouled off, 87 miles per hour on the lower inner part of the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes, Altuve. Jordan on first with 1 out, 1-2 count. Whoa! He really nailed him that time with an 88 mile per hour pitch. They're going to come right out there and check on him. Got him on the hand. That's bullcrap. Hendricks is not even looking. Wow. Look at this. Right on the forearm. That didn't look like it felt good. That's not the kind of snap we want to see. He's still shaking it off, but Altuve will go to first base. Joe Espada was just checking on Altuve, and speaking of Espada, it's his birthday. Are you serious? Wow. Espada was born the same year I was. That's interesting. He's a young'un. He just hit 50. I'm already at 50. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. Carlos Correa at the plate. We've got runners on first and second with 1 out. Come on, Correa. Let's make this a big first inning. Let's light this guy up. Low and outside. Ball 2. Good take. Well, the lucky thing is it wasn't a complete blunt hit. It was kind of a glancing hit, so maybe it was more of a burn, of a surface burn than a smash, you know. That was below the zone, but call it a strike. His umpire's liking him some pitches a little out. Or a little under. 2 balls and 1 strike to Correa. Here comes the next pitch. 87 up and in, swing and a miss. Could have let that one go, I think. Here comes the 2-2. Aw, 88 miles an hour, right in the middle of the zone. Correa misses it. Swing and a miss. That looked like batting practice, a batting practice pitch right there, and he couldn't even get the wood on it. So right now, we have 2 left on base already. Sanchez at the plate. They throw to second base, but Jordan is back. Here comes the pitch. Outside. 1 ball, no strikes to Jesus Sanchez. One-0 pitch on the way. Sanchez grounds it foul down the first base side, and the count is even 1-1. Yeah, Altuve was also way out in front of the pitches. I mean, heck, even on that swing right there, Sanchez was way ahead of it. He hits it to the right side this time. Should be an easy play to first, and it is, and that's out number 3. So the Astros strand 4 in the first inning. Altuve and Jordan were on first and second. Correa struck out. And then Sanchez grounded out. For those of you who do not know, that's 4 left on base. 4 LOB, 4 lobsters in the first inning. That's how it works. So 2 guys were on base. Correa failed. That's 2 LOB. Then Sanchez failed. That's 2 more LOB. So that's a total of 4. It's different than stranded runners at the end of the inning. So the Astros already have 4 lobsters. Terrible start. Same as yesterday. Get on base and leave them there. If they stay at this rate, that will be 27. 27 left on base. Yesterday they had 25. 25! That's completely unacceptable. If they get a decent amount of runners on base, then they should have no more than about a dozen. Now, if they get a ton of guys on base and they score a ton of runs and they have 25 left on base, that's different. That's different. But when you only score a few runs and you have 25 left on base, that's completely unacceptable. That means you're getting a lot of people on base and you're not scoring them. So you got to look at several stats to understand it. But if the Astros score like 18 runs, you know, like they did against the Dodgers, and they have 25 left on base, there's nothing wrong with that. That means they got a ton of guys on base and they scored a ton of runs. That's okay. But you can't get a ton of guys on base and only score a few runs. That's unacceptable. Arrietty's back on the mound. He's facing Taylor Ward, the righty. 79 on the inside. Strike 1. No, Elijah, that's not true. Here's a pitch. Somebody said that the other day, actually. I made a post about left on base, the difference between stranded runners and left on base. And somebody, one of my subscribers, made a comment about teams that win more most of the time have more left on base. That's not true. You have to look at more information than just that. The Astros consistently have a lot of left on base, but they're not even scoring an average amount of MLB runs per game. We have a very high batting average. We're top 4 right now. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Taylor Ward. Too high, 3-1. So think about that. The Astros are number 4 in batting average in MLB, which is great, right? But they also have very high LOB. That hasn't translated into a lot of runs, and it hasn't translated into the Astros having an amazing record. That's a strike, 3-2. 93-mile-per-hour fastball right in there. So you can't just say that having a lot of runners on base means that you'll win more games. It's an indicator. Swing and a miss. The Swiffer low and outside. Strikeout number 2 for Arrietty, and that's the first out of the inning. Joe comes to the plate. Well, yeah, I didn't know if you're joking, but the reason I was saying that is because one of my subscribers mentioned that the other day in my post. He said, well, people or teams with the more LOB, because basically what he's saying is it creates more chances, right? If you have more runners left on base, it means you had more chances, and it also means you scored more runs. But just because you had more people on base doesn't mean you scored more runs. You can't. Those are connected but not correlated. There's no causation there. Correlation but not causation, is that right? I think that's right. 1 ball, 1 strike to Joe Adell. Yeah, by the way, 8. That's how many left on bases Yainer Diaz had yesterday just by himself. 8. He had 1/3 of all the Astros left on base. 2 balls and 1 strike to Joe. 1 out, nobody on. Astros with 1 hit, but no runs in this game. Nothing else. Everything else is goose eggs. Low and outside. Did he go? They say he went. How about that? 2 balls and 2 strikes. Red Lobster offered him a job. They should, maybe we should do that. We should open up a place in Houston called Orange Lobster. Here's a pitch. Another Swiffer, low and outside in the dirt. Full count. Second full count from Arrighetti this inning. He got the strikeout on the swing and miss last at bat. Let's see what he does here with Mr. Adele. Well, he takes a timeout. He wants a little time to consider his options. 20 pitches now for Arrighetti. It's a little Arrighetti. Here comes the full count toss. Right in there. Fastball right down the gut. He wasn't expecting that. 94 miles an hour, and he struck him out looking. Third K, second one this inning. Yeah, not at all. Boom. 94 literally right in the dead center of the zone, right across the thighs. It couldn't have been any more perfect than that. It was perfect. Couldn't have been perfecter. Luis Rengifo is in the game today. He takes that first pitch. Low in the zone. Strike 1. Nice pitch. Here is the second pitch. Nice pitch, but just a little high and outside. Curveball. Put it on that outside edge. He didn't go for it, but it was a nice pitch. 1-1. Yeah, and it requires a lot of clicking, Ken. 79 miles an hour. Swing and a miss. Nice toss. Here's the man of the day yesterday. Christian Javier. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. He's trying to strike out the side right here. Set him up a little Arrighetti. Here comes the toss. Ooh, another curveball, but in the dirt. 2-2. But yeah, Ken, you would not believe what I used to have to do during these broadcasts. But that's another thing. I can actually lose a lot of money by getting the copyright claim. High and outside, another full count. Third full count of the inning. The last 2 ended in strikeouts. Here's the 3-2 to Rengifo. And that's going to be a walk. Way up and outside on the cutter. He wants a different ball. Rub it up, give it some love. Why would it be Rengifo with a G? Why would the G be pronounced like an H? It's not a J. 92, too far inside on Logan O'Hoppe. 1 ball and no strikes. Low and outside. Did he go? They say he did. That's strike 1. 1-1. Mary, I've explained the difference between cumulative versus stranded at the end of an inning, but it always seems like every few streams somebody wants to try to explain it to me. But what you're explaining to me is stranded runners at the end of the inning, and that's not what I'm talking about. Fouled off. Cumulative, not stranded. There's a difference. There's a difference. I feel like I have to explain it every couple of games, and people just, for some reason, want to try to correct me. 1-2 count on the way from Arrighetti. Little high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trust me, I know baseball. I know the rules of baseball really well, and I understand all the details of left on base. So thank you for trying to explain it to me, but I already know it. Arrighetti throws it over to first base. Ringville gets back. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and runner on first. Logan Ohapi at the plate. Here's the pitch from Arrighetti. Runner is going to second. He tried to hold up, but he went too far, and that's strike 3. So Arrighetti gets the 3rd strikeout. Mary, why do you insist? I've had a few other people insist. They're trying to convince me of something. But let me show you, okay? And I know I'll show you, and you probably still won't accept it, but I'm going to show you anyway, okay? Just to help you out here. I'm trying to be nice. Trying to be nice. I'll show you on the screen, okay? What I'm talking about. All right, take a look on the screen right here. Okay, right up here. Angels are over here. Astros are over here. Right here it says LOB, left on base. You go all the way down, you see Correa has 2. Sanchez has 2. Go all the way down. Cumulative total is 4. This doesn't have anything to do with stranded runners. This has everything to do with cumulative left on runners. All of the individual chances, the runners that were on base that could have been moved around and were not moved around by the batter, those are the cumulative left on base, and that's what I'm talking about. What website is this that I'm on right now? Well, let's see. Let's see. Oh, look, it's MLB. MLB. Why is that? Because this is a different stat than what you're talking about. I would like for you to acknowledge that instead of trying to correct me. Don't insist on correcting me. I don't know why. Some people get a wild hair and they just want to fight on they just want to pick this battle as the hill they die on. And I'm telling you, there's a big difference between runners left on base at the end of the inning, that's called stranded LOB, versus cumulative LOB. There's individual left on base, there's cumulative left on base, there's stranded left on base. There's not just one LOB. If you don't believe me, that's your business. But don't try to convince me, especially in my chat on my channel. Thank you. That's all. Walker is at the plate. Outside. Ball 1. Brendan, that's a good question. 3rd spot is best, I think, for Jordan. 72 on the outside edge. Could have gone either way. Strike 1. 1-1 is the count to Christian Walker. Here is the pitch. Down and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. I actually made a post. I made a community post the other day explaining the difference between stranded LOB and cumulative LOB. I've taken the time to actually explain it, and people still don't listen. Fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, Uncle Joe, you're right. The Astros have been really successful against him. Not so far in this game, but you know, it's only been 1 inning. They weren't able to get their runs in, but we'll see what they do this inning. Outside. Full count. Ronaldo, I don't agree with that. Jeremy Pena is a better leadoff batter. I don't think anybody would agree with Altuve being first right now. I think Altuve is better in the 2nd slot. That's up the middle, but the pitcher grabs it, lobs it over to first base, and that's an easy first out. Yonder Diaz comes, Yonder Diaz comes to bat. Whatever happened to the human delay machine, Marwin Gonzalez? First pitch to Diaz on the way. A little outside. Hey, Daryl, I'm all right. How are you? Texas Dave, hello from Hiroshima Town. 1-0 to Diaz with 1 out, nobody on. Here comes the pitch from Hendricks. Outside, 2-0. The sinker missing. He's up to 32 pitches? Yep. Here comes the next toss. Low and outside, but called a strike. Look at that. 2-1. Here's the next toss. Low and outside again. This one was actually called a ball, believe it or not. 3-1. Uncle Joe, you're talking about Spencer Arrighetti? I don't understand what you're talking about. We need Spencer Arrighetti. And he has been improving. You said he's not producing, but he has been improving. He can't just come out there and throw 6 innings solid right out of his rehab assignment. What do you expect? I mean, what do you expect him to do? And if they don't pull him in there and let him pitch, what's the alternative? I mean, I'd like to know what your alternative is. What is it that you know that Joe Espada does not know? 3 balls and 2 strikes to Diaz. He hits this one out in the right center field. It's going to be down and all the way against the wall. Bounces off the wall. Diaz headed to second base. He's got himself a 1-out double. Opposite field King strikes again. Why can't you do that with bases loaded, my friend? 2-seam fastball. Right in the high part of the zone. Right above the waist. Right across his gut. Right across his big old gut. Second hit of the day for the Astros. And we've got a runner in scoring position for Cam Smith. 1 out. Here's the pitch. 88. Whew. Bottom of the zone, but the umpire doesn't call it. Talk about inconsistent. 1-0. Here comes the 1-0 to Cam. A little tap on the inside of the field. Neto charges in and barely makes the play. On a half swing, Cam Smith grounds out to shortstop, and that's 2 away. Mauricio Dubon comes up. Last chance here to move a guy around. Yeah, this umpire strike zone has moved around, Brent. He's called it below the zone, and then he's called it when it's in the bottom of the zone. It's inconsistent. Here comes the pitch to Doobie. Low and outside. Ball 1. Hey, nice, DeLion. Trammell has hit 3 homers in 2 games. Nice to see he's coming back well. Here's the next pitch to Doobie. This one's popped high in the air. Should be an easy play on the infield. Of course, it's Neto who gets to put it away. So a double for Diaz with 1 out leads to 2 more LOB, by the way. That's 2 more. 1 runner stranded, but 2 more left on base total for the Astros. Just to be clear, for those of you who don't understand. 1 stranded runner left on base, and 2 more cumulative left on base runners. Just so you can see the difference. 6 now total cumulative left on base for the Astros. The number that I care more about than stranded runners. Let's see here. Yeah, you're right. If he's getting that call, yikes. That's true. Cloudy and humid in Houston, Daryl. I'm not surprised. Brent, I agree with you. I would like for Espada to kind of get a good lineup and stick with it. If he would separate Walker and Diaz with a lefty like Sanchez and stop moving them around so much in the lineup, I'd be happy with that. I'd definitely like that. Chris says Marvin Gonzalez is a Buffalo in Japan. He was my mom's favorite Astro. Brendan says, would you rather have Colton Gordon out there instead of Spencer Arrighetti, Joe? Oh man, good question. Yeah, Daryl. If the Astros are gonna set a record on how many goose eggs are out there for this game, they're gonna have a lot of work to do because they put up a lot of goose eggs this year. Yes, that's right, Michael. Strike zone of the moment. Instead of a strike zone, you could call it a whim zone. A whim zone instead of a strike zone. It's on a whim. Hey, why did you call that a strike? Earlier you called it a ball, but now you're calling it a strike. It's on a whim. It's a whim zone. Here comes the first pitch from Arrighetti this inning. 92 just a little high. The fastball 1-0. Nico Cavadas, the Angels dad bod guy. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Woo, that's a nice curveball right in there. 1-1. Top of the third, baby. 76 at the bottom of the zone on the curveball. Fouled away. 1-2. It looks strike-ish. That's funny. Woo, yeah, strike three, baby. That was a beautiful pitch. I was waiting for the umpire to ring him up on that one. Curveball in the upper outer part of the zone. The umpire took a moment to ring it up. I was getting kind of worried there. And why wouldn't you ring that one up? Another strikeout for Arrighetti. How can anybody be complaining about Arrighetti so far this game? Here comes the first pitch to Mr. Bryce Teodosio. He taps it to Arrighetti, who throws it over to first base. One pitch. Teodosio grounds out to Arrighetti. That was easy. And our favorite guy, everybody's favorite guy, Zach Neto, comes to the plate. Even his portrait, he looks like an annoying brat, an annoying boy. He doesn't even look like a man. He looks like a boy. Maybe that's why his facial cream looks like a child put it on. Because he is a child. Whoa, first pitch almost goes over his head. All right, Arrighetti, yeah, you got the right idea. Hit him and he'll freak out. Everybody's trying to hit me. Have you been talking to Hunter Brown? 1 ball, no strikes. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the toss. That's hit really hard to left field. Please no. Please no. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Home run by Zach Neto to left field. Just barely fair. 1-0. Can you believe that? Inside. Look how close this was. Right inside the Chick-fil-A there. Ugh. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. First hit for the Angels, and it's out of the park. Strike 1 on Yoan Moncada. 0-1 is the count. Oh, nasty storms coming in. I hear you. I understand that. Half swing on the curveball in the dirt. 0-2 is the count. 6 lobsters, that's right. Astros have 6 lobsters right now. You guys are learning. Maybe if I give it a name, if I keep that name, the lobsters, maybe everybody will start to understand what they are, instead of questioning me and debating me about it. Swing and a miss. Moncada goes down, but it was one batter too late. Spencer Arrighetti was shaking his head and patting his chest, saying that was my fault. That pitch was my fault. He was talking with Yainer Diaz on his way off the field, and he was tapping his chest. So he was blaming it on himself. I think Diaz was trying to take the blame for the call, but Spencer Arrighetti shook his head and was going, no, it's mine, it's me. It's interesting that Diaz was trying to take the blame, and Arrighetti's like, no, that's me, it's on me. But it was a mistake pitch. Just got lucky. One single hit in 3 innings for the Angels just happens to be right inside the foul pole in the Crawford boxes. Not a home run in many parks, most parks. 1-0. The Angels are up over the Astros going into the bottom of the 3rd. Let's see here. Nightbot going a little crazy with the random promotions. They're not supposed to be spamming back to back like that. So difficult to set those messages up. Altuve needs to be hated again. Uncle Joe, I think that Altuve has never not been hated ever since the cheating scandal. Ever since that broke, no stadium has stopped hating Altuve. I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. The only place where Altuve has a respite, where he has a break from the hate, is Dykene Park. It's the only place. Jeremy Pena comes to the plate. The top of the Astros batting order comes back up. The Flash, followed by Alvarez and the Superman Altuve. Here comes the first pitch to Pena. Pena lays off the curveball. They say he does not swing. That's ball 1. A seeing ball, dog. The ump has a lazy right eye. Maybe he has a lazy right and left eye. He has both. Lazy eyes. This is hit into center field. Is it going to drop? Looks like it might. Yes, it does. Center field can't get there. Pena stops and goes back to first base. He was thinking about 2. There we go. A mini hitting streak. 6 games in a row for Pena. The Flash is on first base, baby. 80-mile-per-hour changeup blowing outside. Yordan Alvarez comes to the plate with a runner on. No outs. Here comes the first pitch. 86 sinker at the top of the zone. Strike 1. Mark wants to put Nightbot in timeout. He keeps trying to sell me stuff. Yeah, it's not supposed to be that often, but it's very difficult to set it up. I wanted like a message no more than every 15 minutes or so. But I want 3 different messages, for 3 different things. But getting it set up to where it actually does that is so freaking tricky. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the pitch. Uh-oh, hit pretty hard. It's going to stay in the park. Center field. Pena bluffs a tag to second. He easily brings it in. 1 away. I don't even have a new moderator anymore. I'd like to have a moderator or 2. But the last moderator I have acted like he was a manager or something, started trying to tell me what to do, was correcting me. Just like, every once in a while, people in the chat will try to do. They'll get a wild hair and try to start correcting me about something that I'm actually right about. And that's the last thing you want to be doing. Even as a viewer or a subscriber, you don't want to be debating with the live streamer, especially when you're using your opinion as a fact. This is fouled off on the left side and just over the dugout. Altuve with the 0-1 count now. Peña still on first base with one away. One strike, no balls to Altuve. So that last moderator that came in, I had to remove him from the moderator position, and he quietly disappeared. Now he's moderating some other channels. He's got something going on. He's trying to get under weasel his way into people's channels. Here's the pitch. Altuve up the middle, and then it's going to be dropped. Nice. Altuve hits a single to center field also. Back-to-back line drive singles to center field. Nice. .235 hits versus the Angels. Number 10 on the all-time hits against the Angels. And that brings up Carlos Correa. Correa, one of the guys I picked to hit a homer today. Let's see if he can do it. Oh, he does it! Does he do it? Oh, it's going to be foul. Right into the corner. Right into the corner. I picked two guys to hit a homer today. Peña and Correa. South Korea, baby. He blasted that one a little too early and at too much of an angle. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Oof. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Runners on first and second. Come on, don't be a lobster. Here's the pitch. 87 up and in. One ball, two strikes. That's right. Tuve does live rent-free in New York City. He's probably got him a nice penthouse apartment in Manhattan. He's got a little apartment in the Bronx. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Gray takes that one low and outside. The count's even, 2-2. Uncle Joe, what I said earlier doesn't have anything to do with it. You said Altuve, Altuve plays better when booed. It helps the team. I don't know. This is hit out to right field all the way out to the corner. Peña will probably tag. He does. He'll go to third. Altuve stays at first base. I see what you're saying, Uncle Joe, but it sounds to me like you're just being a little, like you're trying to debate or contradict me or something in the chat, which is nonsense. If you do that again, I will put you in timeout. Because what I said was Altuve has never not been booed ever since the cheating scandal. He has been consistently booed. You said he needs to be hated again. What do you mean again? He's still hated. He never stopped being hated. He's just not hated in Houston. Smart people and Houston fans don't hate Altuve, but most everybody in every single stadium in the U.S. hates Altuve. So what do you mean again? Altuve is stealing second base. Sanchez grounds it to second, and he drops the ball. Peña will score on the error. He can't get it out of his glove. How about that? 1-1. They're going to actually give him a hit on the chopper. Yeah, they were saying that Zach Neto should have taken that ball, but he was cut off by Ringifo, and he couldn't make the play. He was going the opposite direction, and he cut in front of Neto, and it cost him. That's right. All right. Have a little meeting on the mound. The runners on first and second. Christian Walker comes to the plate with 2 outs and 2 on. No more lobsters. The Astros already have 9. 9 lobsters. No more. Please, no more. Chris, that's a good idea. I wrote the lobster thing down. Maybe I will finally remember the acronym. That's a good idea. A good idea. Rock Lobster is the song of the day. I hope not. It was definitely the song of the day yesterday. Walker fouls the first one off, bounces it down the third baseline. Strike 1. Altuve on second base. Sanchez on first. Christian Walker at the plate with 2 outs. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Ooh, just barely below the zone. 1-1. When Altuve retires, they'll retire his jersey at Yankee Stadium. They'll probably have a big party, fireworks and everything. Fouled off again down the third baseline. Walker's up to 1-2 on the count. He takes a little timeout. Come on, Walker. Come on, Walker. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Outside. The curveball missing widely. 2-2 is the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 outs. Brendan says, as soon as I go to the bathroom, we score. Maybe I should stay in the restroom. I hear stuff like that so much. Foul tip, swing and a miss. And Christian Walker strikes out. I know you're not surprised, but that's 2 more lobsters. 11 lobsters for the Astros so far in just 3 innings. 11 lobsters. 11 lobsters. At least the game is tied. 5 hits for the Astros and 1 run. 1 hit, a solo homer by the Angels. That's all they needed to keep this game tied, or make this game where it's at right now. Howdy, Caesar. Good to see you. Yeah, unfortunately, Brent, I agree that Walker should have gotten a hold of one. There's no reason why he shouldn't, because everybody in this lineup can blow the doors off of Hendricks. Hendricks has had his doors blown off by the Astros this season. But not this game. At least not with runners on base. Gilligan's Island. Gilligan's Island. Rock Lobster. Yeah, I see your comment there, Casey. Joe was just saying we need a rally for Altuve. No, he was being confrontational with me. If you go back and look at all of the comments, you know, I don't know how many of you actually know this or not, but I am a writer, okay? And I'm not going to tell you anything that I've written or where things are published or whatever. I will tell you that throughout my life, ever since I was in high school, my writing has actually done a lot of wonderful things for me. But for most of my life, for many decades, I was just too afraid to pursue the main things that I wanted to do. Write, tell stories, and make films with those stories. But I'm working to change that. And that's what happens when you get diagnosed with cancer and the doctor says you're going to die in a few years. It kind of makes you rethink what you're doing. It's one of the reasons I started this channel, because I want to have fun with it, you know. Just want to do something enjoyable. First pitch is a strike to Mike Trout. Second one is high and outside, 1-1. He got Trout the last inning on a broken bat tapper back to the pitcher. Here comes a 1-1. 91 on the outside edge, fouled off, 1-2. But as a writer, as a skilled writer who is also researching and writing a novel in Edo period Japan, it's set in historical Edo period Japan, I have a good understanding of comprehension. Reading and writing, speaking comprehension, I'm pretty good at these things. 80 miles an hour, low and outside. So whenever somebody takes my words and takes them out of context, or reframes them, or presents them in a way that I did not present, I don't like people like that. 92 above the zone. Even people in the chat, you know, every once in a while some people come in and just try to be confrontational for no reason. But it's okay to disagree with my opinions. If I give you my opinion, I'll tell you it's my opinion. Here's the 3-2 pitch, full count to Mike Trout. 92 on the inside. He taps it over the right side. Walker's under it, no problem. Two soft tappers from Trout. A ground ball. Or was that a broken bat fly to Walker, the last at bat, just like that one? Maybe I was wrong. I know it was a broken bat. I remember that. But anyway. If I know a data fact, I'll tell you it's a fact. But if it's an opinion, I'll tell you it's my opinion. It's okay. You can disagree with it. But just don't be rude, and don't tell me I'm wrong when I'm stating facts, you know. I don't do this to other people, so I demand that level of respect in return, you know what I'm saying? Ken gets it. Here comes a 1-0 pitch to Taylor Ward. Outside. Yes, here I am, and here you are. Here we are. 2 balls and no strikes to Taylor Ward with 1 out, nobody on. Here in the top of the 4th. Yeah, Brent, we kind of did get a little lucky, didn't we? Get that run. Here's the pitch. He hits that one out into right field, all the way in the corner. Cam is over. Holy cow, is he okay? He runs into the wall. He makes the catch. How did he make the catch? Is he okay? There is no foul territory out there, and Cam ran straight into the wall. Holy cow. How did he not injure himself right there? Look at that. Man. Cam, what are you doing? Spencer Arrighetti was like, holy crap. He's back out there. They're not going to check on him. He says he's okay. Next batter at the plate, Joe Adell. Swing and a miss. The Swiffer. 2 down. No one on base right now, John. Bases are empty. Oh, you mean left on... Oh, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. How many lobsters? 92 right in there. 0-2. Wow. Right now, the Astros have 11 lobsters. The Angels only have 1, but they haven't really gotten... They only have 1 hit, and that's the homer. So they don't have much success getting on base right now. They have 1 lobster. Despite being red, it's the Astros that have the more lobsters. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout. Arrighetti with 7 strikeouts. 7 Ks for Spencer Arrighetti. Hope that Cam Smith looked like he was kind of running like an old man there. I hope he didn't hurt himself slamming into the wall like that. Ken says the last time I saw my doctor, it was for a few maladies. Yep. Attributed to being 72. He asked me, do you remember 20 years ago I told you if you quit smoking you would live another 20 years? I said I did. Well, here you are. He said, well, here you are. That's funny. Did you ask him, so what do I do to stick around in another 20 years? That would have been my question. So what do I do now so I can come back and see you when I'm 92? The doctor probably wouldn't be around at that time if he was older, right? Yeah, Cam's going to make a weekly highlight for sure. It wasn't a diving catch, but running straight into the wall. I don't know. Making the catch, that wasn't impressive. Holding onto the ball was the part that impressed me. Because after he made the catch and hit the wall, I thought for sure that ball had dropped. I didn't see it drop. I just thought for sure it must have. But when I saw he still had it in his glove, I thought, holy cow. How can you hang on to the ball in a situation like that? That was insane. So kudos to Cam Smith for continuing to be so solid out in right field. Man. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right, John. 5 hits. How many walks do the Astros have? One. One walk. No. That's the Angels. My bad. Astros haven't walked at all. The only base runners the Astros have had so far have come off hits and a hit by pitch. Altuve was hit by pitch earlier. Diaz is going to lead it off here in the 4th. Right in the bottom of the zone. Called a ball by the umpire. That's an inconsistent area. That's part of the whim zone instead of the strike zone for this ump. Pitch number 60 coming from Hendricks. Right in the middle of the zone, hit high in the air to right field. Is it going to be playable? Did he get it? Adele makes a catch against the net, and the umpire says he got him. That was not an easy catch, but it was much easier than Cam Smith's catch. But he had to run a long ways to get over there, and he got it right at the net. Yeah, he didn't have to run into the wall. He just ran next to the wall. Much easier than Cam Smith's catch. Daryl says, got my popcorn ready to go. Yeah, DeLion, it was hard to tell, but man, it looked like he could have hurt his knee or hurt his arm. He's at the plate right now. Grounded out earlier. 1 ball, no strikes to Cam Smith with 1 out, nobody on. Here's the toss. 80 miles an hour. Change up right in there. Swing and a miss. 80 miles an hour. That's slower than middle school speed. Maybe that's why he couldn't hit it. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. This is hit hard into left field. Is it going to be down? Yes, it is. Cam Smith comes through with a single. I have a 1-out base runner again. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. Dubon will get on base, and then they'll be stranded. They'll be stranded by Pena and Jordan. Hey, Fox at Bat, welcome in. Good day to you. It's nice to see you. First pitch to Doobie. He taps this one to the left side. 1 play at first base. Okay, so Doobie moves Cam Smith to second, but that's 2 away. The Flash comes to the plate. Daryl says, I got a coupon for unlimited drinks for all home. Holy cow, how'd you get that? That's awesome. That's got to save you a pretty penny. Are those like all drinks? I guess not alcohol, maybe just sodas and stuff like that. Here comes the first pitch to Pena. That's hit out into left field, and it's going to be playable. Very first pitch lined out, and that's it. So Jordan doesn't even have the chance to come up. Pena goes ahead and strands the runner. That's another couple of lobsters for the Astros. That's 13. No, wait. I'm sorry. That's only 12 lobsters. Because when Dubon grounded out, he did move Cam Smith to second base, so that doesn't count as a lobster. Let's see here. But somehow the Astros have 13. Let's see here. Cam Smith, Dubon, Pena. Wow. Well, they're actually giving. That's strange. They gave Dubon a lobster. That's not. They're not supposed to, because he moved him to second base on the fielder's choice. But they gave it to him, so they're saying 13. I'll go with the MLB stats. 13 lobsters in 4 innings. That's more than 3 per inning, guys. That's really, really bad. That's really, really bad. This is approximately 30 LOB for 1 game. That's really, really bad. Now, if we have 10 runs, it's not bad. But if we have 1 run, it's really bad. Spencer Arrighetti back on the mound in just a moment. He's got 54 pitches, 33 are strikes. He's doing pretty well so far with just 1 hit, the solo homer. Louis Ringfold comes to the plate. Yeah, that's right, Brent. Maybe it has something to do with like being on an emotional high. You come in, you're jacked up, and you come back out, and you put that energy into your at bat. But yeah, that's something I've noticed too. Sometimes players who come off the field making a big defensive play are still hyped and come in and get a hit. 1 ball, no strikes to Ringfold. Here comes the next pitch. A little low. The cutter about an inch below the zone. The umpire has called that strike half the time and ball half the time. 2-0. Here comes the toss. Outside. Woo, called a strike on the curveball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Astros 3.5 games back of Toronto, looks like. Or the Tigers. 2.5 back from Toronto. Swing and a miss on that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gregory says, I'm at work. Let's got some of this. Thank you for your hard work, sir. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Low and inside in the dirt. Full count. Me too, John. I can't wait for Myers to come back either. Looking forward to that bat. Elijah, that's a good question, but a very difficult stat to find because of the language. It's very difficult to find. But it is a really good question. A really, really good question. Because every time you search for the cumulative LOB online, it almost always gives you the stranded runners at the end of the inning. It almost always does. Here's the pitch. This is chopped to short, but Correa cuts it off and guns him down at first base. A nice little cut off and gun in action. A run and gun from Correa to get the out. Boom, baby. That's how you do it. And that's how you play third base. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Forgot to mute the mic. Here comes the first pitch to Logan O'Hoppe, too far inside. A liver coupon? What's a liver coupon? Fouled off. 91 up and in. The count is even 1-1 with 1 out, nobody on. Is it just a 1 season coupon? Be funny if you could change the date and just use it every year, every season. That'd be awesome. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Is it one of those coupons where you could, like, get yourself a drink and then hand the coupon to somebody else and they go get a drink and you hand it to somebody else and they go get a drink? Could you do something like that? Maybe at different kiosks? Would that be possible? Here comes the 1-ball, 2-strike pitch. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout. The nice Swiffer. 8 Ks. A strikeouts. Hey, thank you, Angel. Guardians leading the Mariners 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Let's go, Guardians. 1 ball, no strike to Cavadas. Here comes the toss from Arrighetti. In the dirt, the curveball misses. 2 balls and no strikes. 2 outs, nobody on. Abel Rodriguez says it was draft day in football, so I'm here now. Anything interesting happening with draft day today? Here comes the 2-0. Woo, see, that's what I'm talking about. That should have been a ball, low and outside. Called strike. Strike on a whim. But it goes our way, 2-1. Makes up for the ones he's missed. Oh, at least one of them. Nice. Oh, 93 miles an hour on the inside corner. Look at that. That's a strike. He called it a ball. This umpire, man, I swear, he gives us one that was clearly a ball, and then he takes one away that's clearly a strike. What in the world is he doing? 3-1. Here comes the 70th pitch from Arrighetti, way outside, and that'll be a walk. Goodness gracious me. Yeah, there's a scoreboard. Mariners in the top of the 5th now. 0-1. The Submariners are losing. Teodosio bunted it to the mound his last at bat. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. The sinker right down the middle. 0-1. Holy cow, that's awesome, Daryl. Just $10? I'll take that. I'd buy that for $1 or 10. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. This one's tapped easily over to Correa, who fires to first with his gun. 4 up and 3 down. Another good inning for Arrighetti. 5 innings of 1-run ball. Arrighetti has already done a fantastic job for the Astros today. 8 strikeouts, 1 hit, 1 run. I like this Arrighetti. I like this Arrighetti. I like this type of Arrighetti. It's my favorite Arrighetti. Some people like the Ferracini. Some people like the Linguini. But I like the Arrighetti. You know, it is time for me to drink a fresh hot cup of coffee. This last cup was just not hot enough. And it wasn't fresh. Granted, it was neither fresh nor hot. 'Tis a bad combo, is it not? I got up really early this morning. And cooked myself some bacon. Had 4 eggs, lightly fried with butter, lots of black pepper, a little bit of Mediterranean sea salt. Actually, I think the sea salt that I used this morning was from the Seto Inland Sea. It's here in Japan. Still good stuff. Very healthy. Good for yous. I kept this Kirkland coffee container, but I buy some Japanese coffee that's a much better value, and I just fill it up because I can seal it. The Japanese coffee comes in a bag and I can't reseal it. All right. Hot coffee incoming. One of the easy things about learning Japanese is also a challenging thing because they import a lot of words from English. And so that makes a lot of words easy, like coffee, kohi. But at the same time, wow, what in the world is going on here? Okay. Apparently Altuve's at the plate. Jordan is on base. And I didn't get to see what happened because the screen said, it suddenly said, the game is starting soon. I had to refresh my screen. But he got a hit. Apparently Jordan got a single. Jordan is on base with a single. Fine by me. Altuve at the plate with a 1-0 pitch. 80 in the top of the zone on the changeup. 1-1. Tommy wants a homer. Yes, he do. Daryl says the best things in life are free. Yeah, if you have a lot of money, everything is free. Woo! Out on the corner, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Altuve. Altuve is 100% getting on base today. The first time wasn't his choice. Here's a pitch. This is hit hard to the left side. They're going to try to get a double play, and they do. So Altuve grounds out into the double play. Jordan is put out at second. Altuve's out at first. And the Astros, despite 7 hits, only have 1 run on the board. Bases are clear for Carlos Correa. Still waiting for that home run. Let's see if he gets it now. Low and outside. Ball 1. Ken says, it used to be a mouthful of cold coffee would gag me. After a year in the Army, I rarely knew the difference. I understand that. 86 miles an hour. Calling these games is... I mean, iced coffee, I like sometimes, but I always... Well, I say always. I generally lean to hot coffee because I just love hot coffee. But if I'm outside and sweating and it's hot, of course I'll take iced coffee. But... usually not drinking coffee in such an environment. You know what I'm saying? 2 balls and 1 strike to Carlos Correa. But because of doing the live streams, I've gotten more used to the room temperature coffee. Here's the 2-1 pitch. 81 miles an hour, low and outside. Outside the zone, swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs, nobody on. Here comes the pitch. Nice slow curveball, 74 miles an hour. Fouled off down the third baseline. He waited on it as long as he could. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Wow, he rockets that one out into right field, but foul. 88 mile per hour fastball. He tried to whiff one by him. He was able to catch up with it just enough to foul it off. The line says he threaded a little grounder to right field. Ah, thank you for letting me know that. This is grounded. Speaking of grounder, right to the second baseman. Rengifo throws it over to first, and that's it for the Astros this inning. 1 hit by Jordan, which was erased by Altuve's unfortunate double play ground ball. And Mr. Hendricks looking really good. We should be destroying this guy. But he's looking really good through 5 innings with just 1 run. The Astros have 14 lobsters. In 5 innings. Just under 3 per inning. Still really bad. Still really bad. You're right, Brendan. Espada, move Jordan. I want Jordan in the 3rd spot. That's where I want him. I don't want him batting 2nd, and I don't want him batting 4th. The reason I don't want him batting 2nd is because there's little chance for anybody to get on base in the top of the batting order. The second reason that I don't want him batting 4th is because if the first 3 guys get out in the 1st inning, he won't have a chance to bat in the 1st. I think he should always have a chance to bat in the 1st, but he should have the maximum opportunity to have base runners. It just makes logical sense to put him 3rd. I think it makes logical sense. Have him bat 3rd. I don't understand putting him 2nd. I really don't. Elijah says, now I want iced coffee. I want a lifetime supply of free coffee that will work. I wouldn't mind having that, but you know, at least I found a way to get a good, nice price on coffee. I get a massive bag of coffee now for about $10. If I get that same one at Costco, it costs twice as much. And Costco's is not expensive. Arrighetti back on the mound facing our favorite player. He's got the only RBI and the only hit of the game so far, and that's Mr. Nito. Look at him wave that bat around like the spoiled brat he is. He grounds this one to Correa. Correa throws it over to first base, and he gets him out. Is he going to complain about it? Is he going to throw his helmet down? Is he going to cry? Go home and cry. Go home and cry. 1 up and 1 down. I often have tea in the evening, DeLion, especially if it's cool. If it's hot outside, I don't, and it's been too hot recently. But when it's cooler, I drink a ton of hot drinks, especially tea. 85 below the zone to Yohan Moncada. 1-0. Yeah, you're right, Ken. Too many hits going into the grass. Swing and a miss. The count's even, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 6th. Whiff. Here comes the next pitch. 92 at the top of the zone, fouled off. 1-2 is the count. Really? Coffee's gone up that much? That's crazy. But eggs have come down, right? Scores around the league are really low. Tapped foul. Count remains 1-2. At the end of this inning, we can take a look at some scores around the league, see what's going on. That's one of the things I don't have on my screen is scores. I know some live streams have like scores from around the league going on the screen. The only ones I really care about are the ones that are related to the Astros in the American League and in the division. But whoa, that hits the bag. They say it's fair. Walker's going to flip it to Arrighetti. What a good play. Look at that. That was rifled down the line. Walker was there, but it hit the bag and bounced up in the air. Walker grabbed it with his hand and tossed it to Arrighetti, who covered the bag. Good read by Arrighetti to run over to first and cover. It went way up in the air. Nice. 2 down. Mike Trout at the plate. Low and outside on the curveball. Ball 1. Hey, Mr. Page. Work's over. Just tuned in. Yes, please, let's get this W. Hello to you. Thanks for stopping in. Atsukares Samades, thank you for your hard work today. 79 miles an hour, low and outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Trout. Coffee beans I buy, says Angel, are $22 for a 2-pound bag. Wow. That kind of sounds like the price that you pay at Costco for the really big one. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. High and outside, 3-0 to Trout. Come on, don't lose him. 82 pitches now for Arrighetti. Nobody warming up in the bullpen right now. Here comes the 3-0 to Trout. Too far inside, ball 4. He walked him on 4 straight pitches. That's the second walk? Or third walk? Third walk of the game for Arrighetti. Oh, Paredes is in the dugout. That's nice to see. Haven't seen that man in a while. In a spell. Here comes the first pitch to Taylor Ward. That's in there. 92 on the inside edge. DeLion wants to know, when's the last time you had some sweet iced tea? Man, some really good sweet iced tea. It's been a really, really, really long time. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. That's crushed to left field. Is it going to be fair? Whoa. That was up on the railroad tracks. Taylor Ward crushed it up on the railroad tracks, and it just barely missed the foul pole. Wow. That would have been possibly a game changer right there. 2-run shot. 0-2 is the count with 2 outs and a runner on. Arrighetti steps off the mound for a moment. Here comes the 0-2. Little tapper to short. Pena grabs it, fires the first. Out number 3. So the Astros, dodge a 2-run bullet right there. Arrighetti has only allowed 1 run on that solo homer through 6 innings. Pitch total is around 90. Let's see. It hasn't updated yet. It says 86, but I don't think that's right. I think he's got a little more than that. If it updates and changes, I'll let you know. But he's right at 90. Right at 90 pitches. 51 strikes. Nightbot, quit the spamming. You're supposed to be random, not back-to-back. Good grief. Daryl says, I drink a lot of hot Irish tea. I like hot Irish women. Actually, I think that the Irish accent on a woman is unbelievably beautiful sounding. I think it is my favorite accent on a woman, to hear an Irish accent. I don't know if it's on anymore, but on NPR they used to have this this late night show on the weekend called Thistle and Shamrock, and there was a lady that hosted the show, and she had an Irish accent. She was Irish, and that was the main reason. They played some nice music, but that was the main reason I liked listening to the show, was just to hear her voice. She was just, I have no idea what she looked like, but in my mind I thought she must be the most beautiful woman on the earth. Just because of the accent. The kind of voice and accent that says, do you love me? Yes, I do. I don't know you, but yes, I do. Then jump off that cliff over yonder, and you're already jumping off of it before she even finishes. Because that's just how beautiful her voice is. You just can't not do what she wants. Jesus Sanchez at the plate takes the first pitch for ball 1 from Hendricks. Here comes the 1-0. He grounds this one to the second baseman. Should be an easy play for Ringafo. He makes a little high throw, but he gets there. Out number 1. Bottom of the 6th for the Stros. Christian Walker comes to the plate. Yainer Diaz on deck. Ken says, we live in a rural area, so we're lucky. Most people are just giving eggs away. Right down the road from me, there's actually an egg farm, and they have vending machines up and down the road in this area where you can get their eggs. Very, very convenient. Foul ball down the third base side. 0-1 is the count. So if you need eggs at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can literally hop in your car and go right down the road to the vending machine and get fresh eggs. They stock them every day. Pretty cool, huh? And by the way, what's really interesting is, in Japan you have what's called a genkan, the sliding doors. It's like an entry area between the outside and the inside of the house. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Walker hits this one out to the right field side, and it's going to bounce foul. 0-2 is the count. But whenever you live in the countryside area, your Japanese neighbors will visit sometimes, and they just open the door. They just open the genkan door. They'll call out first to let you know that they're here, and then they'll just open the genkan door. But one day I was in here doing a live stream, and I thought, did I hear somebody outside? And they had opened the genkan door, come in, and left eggs for me. And the reason they did that is because they know that I'm on kind of a keto style diet and I eat a lot of eggs. It was so considerate of them to do that. Walker hits that one out in the left field, and the left fielder's going to take it. The center fielder backed off, and that's out number 2. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate with 2 down, nobody on. But I have often received vegetables and fruits and snacks and eggs and things like that from my neighbors. They just randomly stop by and bring me things, and they're always asking about my health. They're always worried about me and thinking about me. It's so nice. Yainer hits it to the left side. Should be playable by Nito, and he fires him out at first base. It's no problem to get Yainer. 3 up and 3 down. Hendricks gets through 6 innings with little effort. 83 pitches, I believe, and 53 strikes for Hendricks. Now he's given up 7 hits to the Astros, but the Astros have 14 lobsters. No lobsters that inning because nobody got on base. But when it's all said and done, I'd rather have lobsters than no lobsters. Because if you don't have any lobsters, now unless everybody's hitting home runs, but if you only have 1 run on the board and you don't have any lobsters, I'd rather have that than have 1 run and a ton of lobsters. You know what I'm saying? Because that's frustrating. That's just frustrating. Yeah, that's right, DeLion. The ball bounced off a bag and it worked out for us? Let's go. Yeah. We actually got the lucky break that time. Unbelievable. Yes, it was a gold star play. That's right. Yeah, it looked like that, Ken. For some reason, maybe Arrighetti thinks that his stuff is not as good right now as it was earlier in the game, because he was throwing to him pretty confidently earlier, but that lasted bad. I think he didn't want anything to do with him. I think that he lost a little confidence in his control and his stuff. Well, there are only 3 walks. I mean, that's not too big of a deal. I mean, it's too many. It is too many, Daryl. But for Arrighetti, this is an improvement. Can't complain about his performance today. He's done pretty well so far today. Yes, you're absolutely right, J. Paul. 100%. Good start from Spaghetti. Good start from Spaghetti. Daryl says you're supposed to kiss the Blarney Stone, not fall off from it. Yeah, I've had a couple friends go to Ireland and they've kissed the Blarney Stone. One of these days, maybe I'll go there. I have a feeling though that if I'm gonna go to Ireland, I should do it before I have a girlfriend. If I go there, the very first Irish girl I talk to is probably just gonna sweep me off my feet. She's gonna say, "Why do you love me?" And I'll say, "Ah, you just answered your own question." 92 miles an hour on the inside, strike 1 to Joe Adell. Hey Mark, good morning in Cape Town. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you and the others. There would be no Geaux STROS live play-by-play channel if not for you good people. Magnum PI is warming up in the bullpen for the Astros. Arrighetti is up to 88 pitches. 88 miles per pitches. Arrighetti's going to go back to the future with this next toss. We'll see. Here's the toss. This one's hit out into right field. Cam Smith doesn't have to move for it at all. One away. 89 tosses for Mr. Arrighetti. Oh yeah, that's right, Brendan. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot to do that. I meant to do that during this last break, but we'll definitely look at the scores coming up in just a minute. Outside. Luis Ringolfo at the plate with 1 out, nobody on. 1 ball, no strikes. Yeah, he's working on 7 innings. How amazing is that, Angel? To have a guy actually go 7 innings? It's phenomenal. Outside, 2-0. If he can stretch it out, man, we just need 2 more outs. Ronaldo, I don't know what are you talking about? What are you referring to? 2-0. And 3-0 with that pitch. 3 balls and no strikes. It might be walk number 4 for Arrighetti. His night might be done after this one. Ringolfo tried to take that one as a ball 4, but it was in the top of the zone for strike 1. 3-1. Don't jump the gun just yet, Lewis, whatever your name is. This coffee's good. All kinds of good. Wow, 91 miles an hour on that outside edge, called ball 4. Umpire robs Arrighetti again at the wrong time. Take a look at this. Boom. Right there. He's like, seriously? They're going to let him face the next guy. Okay. Josh Miller's going to come out. So they're going to give him a little break right here. Chat with him. Dubon. Marquise, what are you talking about? Dubon hit. What are you talking about? The Astros are in on defense right now. Yeah. Ken Starks says Cam Wallbanger Smith had an easy catch finally. Cam taking over where Trammell. Cam taking over for the tram, right? Running into the wall, falling on the ground. Hey, Elvis, good to see you. Let's get this W indeed. Let's get her done. Here comes the first pitch to Mr. O'Hoppy. 92 on the outside edge. Good toss, strike 1. 95 pitches for Arrighetti. Holy cow. Here comes the next one. The 0-1. Runner on first, 1 away. That could be... No, that's foul. That was hit down the line on the first base side, and it had a lot of spin on it. But Walker picked up in foul territory, so that'll be strike 2. That'll be strike 2. Need to go back to the future and put some money in the Astros. You know, it would be really cool to be able to jump into the first week of November, see the outcome of the World Series, and come back, wouldn't it? For multiple reasons. Multiple reasons. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to O'Hoppy. Make it an O-strikey or an O-double play. Something like that. Pitch is high. And he's safe at second on the steal. That was close. They're going to see if they want to challenge it. They don't want to challenge. Man. They say that was a good pop-up and throw by Diaz. Let's see how close that was. Woof. Close, but he was safe, just barely. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Low and outside on the Swiffer. 2-2. Ringafo on second base with 1 out. John B. doing the carnivore diet. Are you adding a lot of fat, like grass-fed butter and coconut oil and stuff like that? Here comes the 2-2. Another Swiffer low and outside. What are you doing now, Arrighetti? Full count. He was ahead of the count, 0-2. Now it's full. The line, you put it in the right way. Man. Here comes the full count pitch. Right in the bottom of the zone, called ball 4. A little below the zone. Arrighetti's really ticked off right now. He uttered some choice words after that pitch. 100 pitches, and that's going to be it. Espada's coming out. Brian King is going to be in with 2 runners on. Arrighetti's shaking his head. No offensive support for Arrighetti. Impossible for him to win, no matter what the Astros do now. 6 1/3 innings pitched. 1 hit. 1 solo homer. That was it. That was the only run, the only hit given up by Arrighetti this game. Five walks for Arrighetti, which is not good. But considering how he only gave up the 1 run, can't be upset with him. The problem this game has been the Astros leaving runners on base, not scoring. Right now, the Angels have only left 3 on base. The Astros have left 14. Huge difference. For the game to be tied 1-1, that's a huge problem. Yeah, he's a little tired. That's probably why. That's my guess as to why he didn't pitch to Trout, because he knew that he just didn't have the same stuff that he did before. Brian King is coming in the game for the Astros. I believe we've got a lefty. Nico Cavadas. Yes, that's right. Nico Cavadas is a lefty. He'll be up in just a moment. Ringworm. Ringworm shouldn't be on second. DeLine says that ump ain't giving it to him. He's pitched his ass off regardless. Good job, Spaghetti. You're right, but you know that ump, like we said the whole game, that umpire has been just kind of call it on a whim. Like you said earlier, you know. Strike-ish. It looks strike-ish. But earlier you said it wasn't. You know, feeling and all that stuff. First pitch from King to Nico Cavadas. Oh, no, he's not. They switched. They changed to Matthew Lugo, right-hander. Matthew Lugo, pinch hitting. 1-0. 91 outside. 2-0. We have runners on first and second with 1 out. This is what was inherited by Magnum PI. One Mr. Brian King. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. That's a strike. 92 in the bottom of the zone. Good toss. 2-1. I don't think they should have taken him out early. I don't agree with that. He just got a little bad calls from the umpire. That's hit high and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Abreu is always good. He's been good all season. What do you mean lately? You mean this year? He's been solid all year long. He's like the best in the MLB. 94 miles an hour on the inside. Strike 3. King gets a strikeout. Nice. He pitches 2 balls and comes back with 3 straight strikes to get the K. Boom, baby. Pulls out the Magnum. 94 miles an hour on the inside edge. Ring him up. Cha-ching. 2 away. But there's no way to know who's closing. We can't know that, but I think that Abreu is rested enough so he could come in at the end of the 8th and pitch the 9th, or depending on how the Astros are doing and their pitcher in the 8th, he might not come in until the 9th. We'll see. Mariners 0, Guardians 3. Thank you, Gardindians. Going into the 7th inning. I applaud your efforts. Now, if the Astros would get their act together, think about this. We could go up by 4 games. 4 games over the Submariners. Gardindians win. The Astros win. Heck yes, that's what I want to see. A 4-game lead. Hoshi. That's Japanese for I want it. First pitch to d'Arnaud. Fouled out of play. Travis d'Arnaud, another pinch hitter for Teodosio. Well, yeah, I think he's awesome too, but the fact is he is awesome. It's not even an opinion. It doesn't matter if you're a Yankees fan. You can't deny that Brian Abreu is awesome. He is. He just is. Swinging a foul tip miss. 0-2. 93 high fastball. Ken says, would that make him a wimpire? Maybe he's more of an umpire. Umpire. That's what the pitchers and the batters do whenever he calls a ball or a strike. Fouled off. 94. Another fastball up and in. Count remains 0-2. Hey, Shake. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Well, Brent, you said that neither team is willing to take the division, but I disagree. The Astros are holding it. Mariners are struggling more than the Astros are. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. King trying to get out of this mild jam created by Arrigetti's 2 walks. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Get that strikeout. This is hit out into right center field, and Dubon's got it for out number 3. Heck yes. Look at that. You want to hear a great stat for Brian King that I just heard? 16 base runners have been inherited by Brian King this year. None of those have scored. How do you like that? I want to put that in the chat. That's freaking awesome. 16 base runners inherited by Brian Magnum P.I. King this year. None have scored. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. He's a vampire. He sucks. What do you mean? I'm not a vampire. I'm an umpire. Strike. Strike 1. 1, 2, 3 strikes. So maybe we've got the count from Sesame Street behind the plate. Bottom of the 7th coming up. Cam Smith to lead it off, and Mauricio Dubon and Jeremy Pena. Unless there are some kind of pinch hitters coming in for Smith or Dubon, we'll see. We might. It depends on who's pitching. If Hendricks is still in the game, I'm going to be a little surprised. He's up to 83 pitches. I'm not saying that he's tired, but considering how vulnerable he is, we'll see. We'll see. Brendan says the Yankees. Oh yeah, I said we'd look at the scores. Let's do that. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. Meant to do that. That reminded me. All right, let me move this over just a little bit. There we go. All right, we know this one. Excuse me. Top of the 7th, Yankees 2-1 over the Sox. Mariners down 3-1 to the Gardenians in the top of the 7th. Tigers tied up in the 7th with the Royals. Look at that. Come on, Royals. Go, 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 baby, go. Man, the Orioles destroying the Giants. Let's see. Anything else? Nothing else. The Rangers don't start until later. One more hour until the Strangers and the A's play. The Brewers beat the Blue Jays. Yes! Absolutely yes! We are one step closer to the Blue Jays. Thank you, Brewers. Red Sox got destroyed by the Pirates 10-3. That's nice. All right. Cam Smith is at the plate with 2 balls already while I was checking the scores. No big deal. That's a strike. 2-1. 2-1 to Cam. Crank it up, Cam. There comes the pitch. Grounded just foul. There is a different pitcher in the game. It is Reed Detmers. They got a lefty on the mound right now. Here's the 2-2 pitch. 97 at the top of the zone and fouled off by Cam. Yes, we need this W really bad, Shake. You're absolutely right. This will put us up 4 games over the Mariners. If the Blue Jays lose, the Tigers lose, how awesome would that be? Fouls it off at the plate. Count remains 2-2. Yeah, it could be a really, really good year for Houston sports. You're right. I've heard that. Got a chance in every sport. A little bit of lady luck. Here comes the pitch. Way up high. Full count. Yeah, he did do great, Shake. Brian King was awesome. He lived up to his moniker, Magnum PI, with a 38. Yep. There we go. Detmers wanted that strike. The umpire didn't give it to him. He's not going to give it to Arrighetti. Why should he give it to you? How about that? Boom, baby. 96 too far inside. Ball 4. Cam Smith. He's like, oh, man. Leadoff runner on first base. Let's break this tie. Doobie at the plate. Come on, Doobie-Doo. Here comes the first pitch. He shows bunt and he gets it down, but it's foul down the first baseline. Trying to sacrifice Cam to second base. Yeah, that's right. There are always many interesting last names in the sport, right? One ball. No. Yeah, it is. He shows bunt, pulls back, and that is 1 ball on the inside. I was accidentally calling it earlier. How did I do that? For some reason, I thought there was already a ball. I was incorrect. It's 1-1 now. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. He's showing bunt again. He gets the bunt down, but it's fouled off of the catcher. That's funny. Kind of ironic. Oh, Hoppy is the catcher. And after the ball hit him, that's what he did. He hoppied. He hoppied behind the plate. One ball, 2 strikes to Dubon. He's going to be swinging now, it looks like. Here it comes. Little check swing. Did he go? They say he did, and that's strike 3. Dubon is really, really upset about that. He's laughing about it. Let's see if he went around. It's hard to tell. I don't know why they show us this angle. This angle is too much of an angle. They They need to show it from the side. That doesn't help. It looked like he might have gone around, though. Pena comes to the plate with 1 out. Cam Smith on first base. Come on, Flash. He rips it to the left field side. Foul, man. Pena is one of the 2 guys that I picked to hit a home run today. Neither of them have gotten a homer. But he does have a double. No, I'm sorry. He has a double versus Detmers in his career. Today he is 1 for 3 with a hit. He has a single. 0-1 is the count with 1 runner on and 1 out. Swing and a miss. 87 slider at the bottom of the zone. 0-2. Fried lice. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Come on, Pena. He grounds it to third. They're going to try to get a double play, and they do, and that's it. Pena kills the inning with a double play ball. 7 innings done. 7 hits for the Astros. 1 hit for the Angels, and we're tied at 1. That's another lobster for the Astros. Another couple of lobsters for the Astros. Left on base for the Angels has gone up to 7. So in the past couple of innings, they've had a lot more left on base. But the Astros are now at 16. There we go. That's our lobster count right now. That's how many lobsters we have in the tank. 7 lobsters, 7 Angels lobsters, and 16 Astros lobsters. Oh man, extra innings against the Angels, against this pitcher. The Astros have lit this pitcher up all year long, and we only have 1 run against him. And we've missed 16 opportunities to move runners around. Absolutely crazy. I disagree, Brent. Astros have a really good record at home. It's not like last year when they were struggling to win at home. The batter's eye has not been an issue at all for the Astros this year. Yeah, we need 1 run if we're going to have an opportunity. I mean, as of right now, it is going into the top of the 8th. The Angels are going to bat 2 more times. So as far as right now, we absolutely need at least 1 more. Top of the 8th coming up. Brian King likely being replaced. Yes, he is. He's replaced by Steven Okert. First pitch to Nito. He shows bunt. And he takes the pitch below the zone for strike 1. Did he call that a strike? Yeah, he did. Nice. All right. I like that. I like that it was below the zone and he called it a strike on Nito. That was nice. Steven Okert. 0-1 pitch to Nito is on the way. Half swing, fouls it off. 0-2. We need a hero. That's right, we do. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss in the dirt, and Diaz tags him out in a 3-pitch strikeout against Mr. Nito. Go sit down, boy. Look at this. Whip. Yep, that's right, Brendan. I've not heard anybody. I've not heard anybody say at all, not even once this entire season, anything about the batter's eye at home. Not over the last 2 months? What are you talking about? At worst, the Astros have been mediocre at times over the past 2 months. Overall, they've been neither bad nor good. They've just been mediocre, you could say. I think you need to check out the stats before you say stuff like that. I know that it can feel that way, but don't express your feelings as facts. If you say I feel like the batter's eye at home might be a recent problem, I can accept that, but don't say that it definitely has been. Oh, this has been a problem. Nobody's saying that. 2 balls and 1 strike to Moncada. Here's the pitch. That's hit hard to left field, and that's going to be down for a hit. Is he going to be able to stretch it to do? Nope. Stops at first base. 1 out base runner for the Angels in the top of the 8th. Their second hit of the entire game, believe it or not. Line drive ripped right over the head of Correa, just barely over his glove. Correa's not a short guy either. I wouldn't say that we've been struggling when we were in first place by 3 games. Strike 1 to Trout. Struggling is when you're losing. You're losing ground and you're going down and you have a losing record. We've been doing so-so. That's what I would say. Just treading water. I'd say the Astros have been treading water. Haven't lost ground or gained ground. Just treading water. 0-2. Man, what is with Nightbot? I gotta adjust those settings. It's not supposed to be spamming the chat like that. A little high. 1-2 is the count to Trout. Come on, Okert. Go fishing, baby. A little fried trout with a side of fried Okert. Fried trout and Okert. Serve it up. Here comes the 1-2. Nice pitch. Oh, caught a ball. That's a strike on the lower outside corner and called a ball. 2-2. Umpire takes 1 away from Okert. Here's the toss. Fouls it off. 92 in the zone. Count remains 2-2. Runner on first with 1 away here in the top of the 8th. Stephen Okert on the mound. Facing Mike Trout, who's over 2 today. Let's make it over 3 with this next pitch. Let's make it Okert 3. 93 inside, fouled off. A double play would be sweet, Brendan. You're right about that. Well, it hasn't been just Yordan. We've had other issues. Myers has been gone. We had other players go out, come back later. Everybody kind of went through a slump at the same time. Our pitchers started struggling. 93 up and outside. Full count. Yeah, I think they made some kind of changes to the batter's eye, Ken. But this whole year, it hasn't been an issue since... Here's the pitch. Hey, tried to hold it, but he couldn't do it. That's a strikeout. How about that? A little fried trout and Okerts on the side. That's a K for Stephen Okert and out number 2. Runner remains on first base. Taylor Ward comes to the plate. Is that going to be it for Okert? Looks like it. Espada is going to come out and grab Okert. Are they going to bring in a work? No, Kimbrel. Okay, they're bringing in a different pitcher for Taylor Ward. Craig Kimbrel comes in. Okert did his job. Gives up the 1 base runner. Gets the 2 outs. The big out was Mike Trout. That was the main one that they needed Okert for. Put him down. 15 pitches and 10 strikes. Good job, Mr. S.O. Stephen Okert. Stokert. Are you Stokert? I'm feeling Stokert. Craig Kimbrell will be in just a moment. They're on break while he warms up. Well, yeah, Ken, you never know what you're going to get with Okert and Ort. They both have potential. Sometimes they can be so awesome. And then other times it's just like, oh, man, are you serious? What are you doing? And that's the way I felt when he walked in that run in extra innings. I understand that feeling. Sarcastic Prodigy says maybe the Astros hit a plateau. Well, I think it wasn't necessarily a plateau. I think it was just a matter of everybody basically kind of going into a slump at the same time. I mean, and we also had a couple of extra injuries. If you think about how many backup guys we've had in the lineup for an extended period of time, I can't really say that the Astros were at a plateau or that they were struggling. I want to agree with those. I just can't agree with those viewpoints, and the reason is because it's not like the Astros had 100% of their lineup, their pitching and defensive lineup. If they had all of their pitchers and all of their batters, then I could see that. But since they had so many backup guys, you know. First pitch from Kimbrell is a little outside. He's facing Taylor Ward. 0-3 today. And this is the 1-0 count. Here comes the next pitch from Kimbrell. Low and outside on the knuckle curve, 2-0. Dumpires, yeah. That's right. Long hair singing group? What's a long hair singing group? This is hit hard into center field, but it's playable. Doobie is underneath it. Puts it away for out number 3. Kimbrell gets the final out with a fly to Doobie on the third pitch of the inning. So he gets it done. He comes in 3 pitches and gets that last out. Bottom of the 8th coming up. We're still tied 1-1. Angels with 2 hits. The Astros with 7. I believe Yordan Alvarez is going to lead it off in the bottom of the 8th. Followed by Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa. Most of the top of our batting order. Spaghetti, Okert, and fried trout. Sounds pretty good. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Cleveland just went up 4-1. All right, Gardenians. Let's take a look at those scores right quick. Let me refresh this screen for you guys and gals. Let's take a look. Hey, yeah. See, this game right here I'm really excited about. Brewers beat the Blue Jays. Man, the Tigers and the Royals still knotted 1-1 in the 8th inning. Come on, Royals. Pull it out. Pull it out. Top of the 8th, Gardenians 4-1 over the Submariners. Astros win today. And this is another game going right now. It's 2-2. The White Sox and the Stankies tied up. Come on, White Sox. White Sox win. Gardenians win. The Royals win. The Athletics win. The Brewers won. If all those games work out and the Astros can pull this out, how awesome. What a big day. It'd be like a perfect day for the Astros. We're playing the Angels. All we need is just a little bit of extra help at the plate. Jose Fermin comes in and will be the new pitcher for the Angels. 5.32 ERA. He's facing Jordan. Righty versus lefty. Doesn't matter to Jordan. He's licking his lips. Ooh, 89 low and inside. Swing and a miss on that slider. It's okay. Now he's seen it. 2 singles today for Jordan. 2 for 3. Still waiting for the big one. Still waiting for that big old blast. Here comes the toss. This is hit up the middle. Is it going to be down? No. Playable. On the run, the center fielder. Jordan makes a bid for a hit to left center field, but can't quite get it down, and that's out number 1. Jose Altuve comes up. He might make me regret not picking him for a home run today. But Correa is on deck, and I did pick him for a homer, so he still has another opportunity. Hit by pitch, a single, and grounded into a double play. Come on, Altuve. You are always my hero. Always were, always will be. Here's a pitch. Don't go after that one. First pitch is in the dirt, swing and a miss. Strike 1. Yeah. A lot of the umpires went to the Angel Hernandez Umpire Academy. That's funny. Next pitch from Furman. Altuve was taking that one all the way. I'm not sure what was going on there. Huh? Okay. I'm not sure what was going on there. Umpire's trying to explain something. Oh, okay. Okay, I see what happened. A spot that came out because Altuve backed out of the box. Ah, okay, I see. 90 miles an hour swing and a miss below the zone. Right below the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Apparently, Fermin disengaged, and Espada said something about it. And the umpire was explaining to him about the clock or something. Doesn't matter. Altuve swings and misses. He's going to jog to first base. Should be an easy throw, and it is, and that's a strikeout. Altuve looked like an elementary school student at bat, I'm not going to lie. He didn't even come close. Very first pitch was in the dirt. Swing and a miss. That last pitch was even worse than the first. Swing and a miss. I don't know what Altuve was doing that at bat. I'm disappointed. Here's the 2-out pitch to Correa. That's in the dirt. Correa doesn't go, thankfully. Come on, Correa, don't let me down, baby. I picked you for a homer today. Now would be the time to do it. Here comes the pitch, the 1-0. Right in the bottom of the zone. Strike 1. 1-1 is the count. Oh, I see what you're saying, Brendan. A lot of our pitchers have long hair. Maybe they could start a hair metal band. Is that what you mean? Like a hair metal band? Like Poison or something? Motley Crue. Here's a pitch. A little below the zone. 2 balls and 2 balls and 1 strike. That's right, Brendan. He still hasn't struck out. Jordan still has no strikeout. Here comes the 2-1. That's in there. 97 miles an hour. Low and outside. 2-2. The Angel Hernandez School of Greater Inaccuracies has been bad for the game. Abreu is warming up, so he is fully rested and ready to go. Here's the 2-2. Correa goes down with a ball below the zone, almost in the dirt. Correa started off decent. Came back and looked almost like Altuve. Nothing doing for the Astros in the 8th. That looked like garbage. That looked like a fresh pile of garbage. Or as we say in Spanish, garbaje. Or in Japanese, gomi. Eight innings and just 1 run for the Astros with 7 hits. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know, if it weren't for the Astros being able to play up to the really tough teams, I would seriously say there's no way There's no way for us to go to the World Series playing like this. But to be honest, to say that, oh my God, this team can't go into the playoffs. We can't get into the playoffs. We can't get into the World Series. We can't go all the way. I think that that's a very closed-minded, uninformed way of looking at the Astros as a team. Because those who know the Astros this year know that they had this thing about struggling against crappy teams and then being on their game when it comes to the better teams. Doing so well against teams that have a winning record and doing so poorly against teams that don't have a winning record. Why is that? I don't know. I really have no answers for you. I can only speculate. But because of that, that actually bodes well for the playoffs. If the Astros play much better when they're playing better teams generally through the whole year, then that means that they have a better chance in the playoffs, right? We'll see. I guess we'll find out. Brian Abreu on the mound now for the Astros. Top of the ninth. Is he going to lock it down and let us walk it off? We'll see. That's right, Mr. Page. That's Altuve. It sounds like one of those 1970s sitcoms where Altuve comes in, does something silly, and then he just goes like this. They go, Altuve! And he makes the silly face, and they go, that's Altuve. That's what it reminds me of. First pitch to Joe Adele on the way from Abreu. Nice pitch. 83-mile-per-hour sinker on the inside bottom edge. Strike one. Yeah, they're pressing. Absolutely, Ken. That's right. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 99 miles an hour. A little outside. He went after it. Couldn't get it. 0-2. Abreu coming right out with the steam. Steam buns. Steamed hams. 0-2 pitch. 99 outside. He takes that one. 1-2. This is the exact game that I did not want to watch today. I did not want to watch a game like this. That's fouled off on the first base side. The slider. Count remains 1-2. I did not want to see a game like this today for show. For shows. Here comes the next pitch, the 1-2. Did he hold up? They say no, he went around. That's a strikeout, baby. 98 miles an hour above the zone. He couldn't resist. He went, oh man, that didn't taste as good as I thought it would. Strikeout for Abreu, 1 down, 2 to go. Angel, I don't know. It's a good question. Could make that a poll. A real simple poll. Here comes the pitch. This is hit out into left field, and it's going to be down for a single. Opposite field flare. Oh, Hoppy comes to the plate. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. 97 up and in. 0-1 is the count. Runner on first base, 1 out. .98 up and in again. Ball 1. Here we go. This is hit number 4 for Hoppy off of Abreu. And that's the second hit this inning. Abreu has given up 2 hits now. He gets the strikeout. And then back-to-back singles. I sure hope not, Daryl. Not off of Abreu. That'd be terrible, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a nightmare scenario? Matthew Lugo comes to the plate. 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. 2 runners on, 1 out. All we need is a double. Brendan says, imagine paying to watch this game at the stadium. I got one better for you. Imagine paying to live stream the game for everybody and call the game and losing money on it. That's the seat that I'm in. Here's the pitch. This is hit into right field, and that's going to be down for another single. Cam Smith comes in. They're going to send him. No, he goes back. Good throw by Cam. They faked him. But Cam throws it in and stops the runner. We now have bases loaded off 3 back-to-back singles. Back-to-back-to-back singles. Yeah. That perfect throw by Cam Smith kept him at third base. Good thing it didn't get away from Diaz. We have 1 out with bases loaded, guys and gals, and they're having a little conference on the mound. Yeah, look at him go around third base. And he's like, Mr. Page, you're right. Absolutely, he's a 70s sitcom Tuve. He says he's a true wonder. Fans of this dynasty know he can go off like a legend for stretches, but he can also look so off when he's not on. You're right. That's why he reminds me of the anime Naruto, the main character of the series Naruto. 99 at the top of the zone, strike 1. Oswald Peraza is at the plate, batting 148 through 83 games. He is pinch hitting for Darno, who is pinch hitting for Teodosio. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Hit out to right field. That's going to be deep enough. It could be. Oh, he can't catch. He can't catch it. It's off the wall. Ringafo will score. And the throw home, do they get him? They say he's safe. That's 2 runs scored. They might double check that second run to see if he got the tag on him or not. Cam Smith went all the way out to right field. That was just shy of a grand slam. Look how close to the wall it was. Right over the glove of Cam Smith. He could not make the catch. Okay. I don't know why, but Cam Smith threw the ball into the middle of the diamond on the relay instead of throwing it down the first baseline, and that cost him that extra run. So it's 3-1. Well, that second run wasn't lucky. That second run was a bad throw by Cam. He threw it to the middle of the field to second base instead of throwing it home. So Cam made a mistake on his throwing decision. 0-1 is the count. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Zach Nito at the plate with runners on second and third. Brian Abreu. I'm actually not surprised at all, not even a little bit, that Brian Abreu came in and has now given up 2 runs. Still got 2 more outs to get. 0-2 is the count to Zach. Here comes the toss. Swing and a miss, 100 miles an hour right down the middle. Out number 2. Yeah, it is, Brendan. It is rare, but you know what? Like I said, I'm not surprised. I'm not even surprised a little bit. You can't be basically perfect all the time. Abreu has been so locked down all season long. Can't be like that all the time. Here's the pitch. Moncada at the plate, 99 above the zone, 1-0. And Brendan says, good game. Just need one out. 86 at the top of the zone, just a little high, 2-0. Kenley Jackson and Brock Burke warming up in the bullpen for the Fallen Angels. 3-1 with runners on second and third. 85 on the outside edge. Strike one, 2-1. Yeah, and he had a rest. That's the funny thing. He had a couple days to rest. He comes back in and then just breaks down. Fouled off his foot and he falls down immediately. Moncada fouls it off his foot. Ooh. Right on the top of his foot. Two balls and two strikes. They're going to take a look at his foot right quick. Well, you know, if the Astros are going to win this game, it's going to fall on the middle to bottom of the order to do something, right? Suddenly the Angels have 6 hits. They've come on stronger in the second half of the game. They were completely kind of shut down by Arrighetti despite the walks. But they've been getting more hits, and now they have more runs. One less hit than the Astros in the whole game. 3-1, the Angels lead with 2 runners on, second and third with 2 outs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lots of twos. And they're up by 2. Here comes a pitch from Abreu to Moncada. In the dirt. Full count. Mike Trout on deck. Is Abreu going to have to go fishing, or is he going to take out this guy first? Take out the little fish and avoid the big fish. We'll see. Full count pitch on the way to Moncada. He throws it in there, but it's fouled off. We'll have another full count. Come on. Come on, STROS. Let's go. Top of the ninth, the Yankees still. 98 above the zone. Ball 4. Bases loaded with Mike Trout to the plate. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. This has been such a close game. If Abreu does not get out of this right here, it is going to be a complete bust for Astros fans this game. Here's the first pitch. Too high and inside, ball 1. The Yankees and the White Sox still tied at 2 in the middle of the 9th. Top of the 9th, the Guardians and the Mariners 4-3. Whew. Here's the pitch. 97 in the top of the zone. Strike 1 to Mike Trout. 1-1 is the count. Bases loaded with 2 outs. De Los Santos is warming up in the bullpen. A righty. Here comes a 1-1 to Trout. 98 miles an hour outside and high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Guardians have 1 out against the Mariners with nobody on. Here's the pitch to Mike Trout. Woo! 98 just barely outside. It is 3-1. Do not walk in a run, Abreu. I don't care if you have to throw 100 miles an hour right down the middle of the zone. Do not walk in a run. Here's a 3-1 pitch. 97, swing and a miss on the foul tip. 3-2. Royals up over the Tigers 3-1 in the top of the ninth. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Trout. Bases loaded with 2 outs. Here comes the toss. Outside, ball 4, and that's going to walk in a run. 4-1. So, the perfect opportunity for the Astros to gain a game on everybody. Abreu is going to be taken out. The best reliever in basically all of MLB looks like the worst on this outing. Bases are still loaded. 4-1 Angels with 2 outs. Enio de los Santos comes in to replace Abreu. Let's take a look at the scores right quick. Maybe there's something else we can take a look at that's better than this. But yeah, take a look. The Orioles in the top of the ninth are over the Tigers 3-1. The Guardians 1 out away. It looks like they just got it. I think they just won. It looks like the Guardians just got the last out against the Mariners. That game should be over. Guardians beat the Mariners 4-3. White Sox and the Yankees still tied at 2 in the bottom of the ninth. Take a look at this game. Okay, so they're playing in Chicago. It's the bottom of the ninth. The White Sox could walk it off right here. Could walk it off. One away. If the Astros lose, they are going to miss a huge opportunity today because everybody they needed to lose have either lost or they're losing or maybe about to lose. Holy cow. What a huge missed opportunity for the Astros. They could have gained in the American League, gained in the division, gone up 4 games over the Mariners. De Los Santos in the game with bases loaded and 2 outs, taking over for Brian Abreu. He's facing Taylor Ward. The first pitch is a strike on the outside edge, 88-mile-per-hour slider. I think the LOBs are about 16. Here's the next pitch. That's in there. 95 on the upper outer corner. Good pitch by De Los Santos. 0-2 to Taylor Ward. Astros still have 16. 16 LOBs for this game. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Come on, get him right here, De Los Santos. Long pause. Up and in. Ball 1. 1-2. 11 LOBs for the Angels, 16 for the STROS. For the first several innings, Angels only had like 1 LOB because they didn't have anybody on base. Here comes the 1-2. Strike 3, look at that. De Los Santos, maybe we should have brought him in instead of Abreu. He gets the swing and a miss. No more damage. Somehow... But it's 4-1. The Astros are going to need 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. 36% agree with me. I want pizza. 31% say walk off. Woo! We're going to need 4 runs to do a walk off. It's possible. Someone says, 27% say extras for sure. And then 4% say Stros lose. Oh, it's not looking too good right now. The 4% might be right. Those negative 4%. The 4%ers. Yep, in Houston. It's Houston. We do things the hard way. That's right. Mr. Page says the wheels fell off this one. I live a block off the highway. I just saw one roll by. Did it say Houston? Big old white letter tires, Houston. I voted for pizza. Yep. I vote for pizza too. Yeah, the Mariners lost. Let's go back and take a look at these other scores right quick. Hey, the White Sox have a guy on second base with 2 outs. They're trying. They're trying. God bless their hearts. They're trying. The Royals are also trying to wrap up this game. There's a guy on third with 2 outs against the Tigers. They're trying to end this game. Man. If the Astros can't come back and win this game, what a huge missed opportunity. Everybody, basically, that the Astros really needed to lose today are either losing or have lost. Jesus Sanchez at the plate. Low and outside, ball 1. We have a new pitcher, I believe. Kenley Jansen is on the mound, rather. Not at the mound, on the mound. Kenley Jansen. Fouled off. No, that's not fouled off. That's a ball, I'm sorry. I was trying to type in the pitcher's name and I missed the pitch, but it's 2-0 to Mr. Sanchez. Here's the toss. Bottom of the zone, a little low, 3-0. Come on, Sanchez, 3-0, baby. Are you being serious? I don't bet. Betting sucks. Betting is stupid. 90 on the outside edge. He takes that one all the way. Strike 1. 3-1. Here comes the next pitch. Outside. Whoa! That ball was outside the zone and called strike 2. Sanchez is ticked off about that. Look at this. 90-mile-per-hour cutter, and Sanchez immediately got angry about that. Whew. Full count. Umpire taking him away from the Astros. Astros have been doing a good enough job by themselves. They don't need any help from the umpire. Here's the toss. Outside. Can't believe that was called a ball. It was at least a foot off the plate. Are you sure that's not a strike, ump? Leadoff batter is on. Sanchez finally draws the walk. Astros get lucky and get that pitch back. Christian Walker comes to the plate with a runner on, no outs. Bottom of the 9th. This is the Astros' last chance. Walker is 1 for 11 versus this pitcher. He rips that one foul down the third baseline. Strike 1. I sure hope he is, Ken. I hope he gets reviewed for this game. Here comes the next pitch. The 0-1 to Walker. That's hit pretty hard to left field, all the way out to the wall, but it's going to be playable right in the corner. Walker came close to putting it in the Crawford boxes, but not close enough. Sanchez stays on first base, and that's out number 1. Well, you know, Ken, what you said there is like, if you think about it, it's half true. You said, if you can't put the ball in play productively, you can't win. Is the team chemistry bad? Well, the Astros have been putting the ball in play, and they've been getting runners on base. They just haven't been scoring the runners. So it's not about putting the ball in play and getting productive hits. It's getting those whenever they're on base. Diaz with a swing and a foul ball. strike one. So right now we have 17 left on base. Now yesterday the total for the game was 25. So today's not as bad as yesterday. But yesterday we scored more runs than today. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Diaz. He hits that one right up in the air over on the right side. That's going to be playable by the first baseman, who puts it away, and that's out number 2. Not looking good. Cam Smith comes to the plate with 2 outs and Sanchez on first base. Astros down by 3. We need 3 runs. It's still possible. Are we going to see crank it up, Cam? Or shut her down, Cam? Hoppy comes out to the mound to have a little chit-chat with Jansen. Well, it is true. You're right, Mr. Page. I mean, this is a 4-game series, though. So there's no way we can... If we lose today, there's... Well, we still could win the series, but we'd have to win the next 2, and there's no guarantee of that. We'll see. We'll see. We're going to have to win 2 more in a row to make up for this loss. That's hit really hard. It might be gone. It's all the way out to center. He makes the catch at the wall. Cam Smith does crank it up, but not hard enough. Man, 400 feet to left center field. Almost got there. And that's going to be it for the Astros. The Astros lose 4-1, giving up 3 runs in the 9th thanks to Brian Abreu. Who saw that coming? Who saw that coming? There's not a whole lot to say about this game, so I'm going to jump over to the scoreboard and see what's happened in these other games right quick. All right. The Yankees and the White Sox are in extra innings right now. Top of the 10th, it's 2-2. Rangers will be starting in just a little bit. About 10 minutes later, they'll be playing the A's. The Brewers beat the Blue Jays. Pirates beat the Red Sox. Mariners lose to the Guardians. Royals wind up beating the Tigers. You know, the Astros are really lucky that these other games came out the way they did today. Because even though we could have gained ground on all these teams, at least we didn't lose ground. You know what I'm saying? Very lucky. Either way, the Astros are very lucky today because of these other teams beating our league and division rivals. Yeah, I mean, we have 2 more games, Mr. Page, and I would bet for sure. I mean, I'm not a betting guy, but I'm just using it as a figure of speech. I would think, I'll change my wording. I would think that the Astros win at least 1 of the next 2. Can they win the next 2? I don't know. They can. Will they? I don't know. But I really believe that they will win at least 1 of the next 2. That if they split the series, that's terrible. But it would be even more terrible to lose another 2 games, right? I think that they'll get them. But as far as the scoring summary for today, Neto homered 1-0. Sanchez reached on a single. Pena scored 1-1. That was the only run the Astros would get. The 9th inning, Abreu broke down, loaded up the bases, gave up several singles. He gave up 3 singles in a row to load up the bases. Another single, couple of runs scored. He walked Trout, rather. That brought in another run. And luckily, De Los Santos came in and shut it down. So could have been a lot worse. Trout could have hit a grand slam easier there. This game could have looked really, really bad on both Abreu and the Astros. I mean, it looks bad enough. But the good thing is that Abreu gets the loss, and he deserved it the way he pitched. He absolutely deserves that loss. Everybody else did fine. Every single Astros pitcher through the first 8 innings did a good job, but Abreu just completely broke down. 4 hits. We only had 2 hits through the first 8 innings and 1 run on the board against us. And then Abreu comes in, gives up 3 runs and 4 hits, 3 earned runs. Man. And 2 walks. That's terrible. Look at that. Just .2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and two walks. That's total. That's opposite world right there. Opposite world. But whatever. Astros had 6 pitchers in the game today. I can't complain about any of these guys except for Abreu. If you had to pick, think about this, guys. Spencer Arrighetti, Brian King, Stephen Okert, Craig Kimbrell, Brian Abreu, and Enio De Los Santos, okay? If you take a look at this lineup and you were to say one of these guys is going to blow the game today, who would you pick? I think nobody would pick Abreu. I think most of you would pick like Okert and Kimbrell, maybe De Los Santos, and then maybe King or Arrighetti, and probably Abreu last, right? But it was Abreu. Abreu's the one that blew up this game and took the Astros out of it. Yes, it's true that the Astros bats were not in this game, but because of Abreu, we couldn't even get to extra innings and have an opportunity to win. So sad. And if you look over here on the right side of the screen, let me show it to you. We can see the current standings here. We could have been up 4 games over the Mariners. 4 games. But no. No. Oh well. What about tomorrow? Let's take a quick look at tomorrow's schedule. Oh man, this is. I'm glad that this was not the 3 a.m. game, because if you look right here for me, let me show this to you. You see that right here? Tomorrow's game, it's 3:10 a.m. for me. That means I got to get up at 2 o'clock. I've got to get up at 2 a.m. to do this game. If I had gotten up at 2 a.m. and gotten this result, oh, I hate those results. Those are difficult. Hunter Brown is going to be on the mound, and he's facing Jose Soriano. Soriano is 9-9. His ERA is just under 4. Not bad. Wow, 154 innings pitched, almost the same as Hunter Brown. Let's see how they match up. Overall, Hunter Brown is at a 2.37 ERA. That's quite a bit lower, of course, than Soriano. Strikeouts, big difference. Hunter Brown 177, Soriano 136. Hits given up, Brown 111, Soriano 145, almost 1 per inning. Walks, 46 from Hunter Brown, 65 from Soriano, but he's actually given up less home runs than Hunter Brown. So the Astros probably won't get much of a chance of a long ball off of this guy, but it looks like he's hittable. Of course, that doesn't mean anything. The pitcher that pitched today, the Astros normally light him up, and they couldn't even get more than 1 run off of him. So it doesn't really matter. What matters is, are the Astros actually going to bring runners in when they get them on base? Getting runners on base hasn't been a problem. Scoring them, that's a different issue. That's a different issue. Earlier this year, if you see over here on the right side, I can show you this, how the Astros have done against the Angels this year. Game 1 that the Astros played against the Angels, 14-3, completely destroyed. Angels came back and won Game 2. Astros beat them up again in Game 3, 7-3. Barely beat them in Game 4, 2-0. And then today, a complete failure, 4-1. But we got Game 6 tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Whew. Let's go back and check the live score here. I want to check the Yankees White Sox game. All right, so the Sox are in the bottom of the 10th, still tied 2-2. They got a runner on third, it looks like. Yeah, check it out. They got a runner on third. Is this game viewable for me? Is it a game of the day? Probably not. Let me see. Could watch this if it's a game of the day, but it probably won't be. Hey, it is. What do you know? It's a free game of the day. You guys want to watch the extra innings of the Yankees and the White Sox? Check it out. White Sox have a guy on third base. Man, that right there could have been the winning run. Game-saving wild pitch. Amazing. Wow. Pretty interesting looking game. The White Sox and the Yankees in the 10th inning tied 2-2. 1 out, runner on third. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Sosa. Yeah, all these White Sox fans, they're packed here. They're wanting to win this game. 1-2 pitch on the way. Check swing, did he go? They say yes, he did. That's strike 3. This is a much better angle than what they usually give us on Space City Network. Two outs. Colson Montgomery comes to the plate. If he walks it off right here, that's great. But if not, I'm going to end the live stream. I just want to see if the White Sox can beat the Yankees right here. Come on. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. I'm sorry. The 0-0 pitch. The score is 2-2. Fouls it off. 0-1. Come on, walk off those Wankies. Yes, you're right, Brendan. The Mariners lost. Hopefully the Rangers will lose too. 0-1 pitch to Montgomery. That's hit really hard to right field. Is it going to be down? No. No walk-off for the White Sox in the 10th inning. They're going to play again. That's all right. No big deal. That's all. I just wanted to see if they might be able to walk it off while we're checking it out, but I guess not. I'll check the score later. That's all we got for today. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I want to double check and see how many likes we had on the live stream. I only got up to 93. That's unfortunate, but 7 shy of the 100. I appreciate you all being here today. And I appreciate your support. Remember, if you have the opportunity or the ability, a little donation to help the channel keep going. There's no guarantee that I can keep the channel going unless I can keep it growing. And in order to keep it growing, I need a combination of things to happen. Likes, subscriptions, memberships, donations, etc. And if you can help out the channel, I'd appreciate it. As long as you can do that, I can keep the community going, keep it growing, and keep doing the live streams. But consider donating if you haven't already. And for those of you who already have, thank you very much. I will see you later tonight. We've got the 3 a.m. game here in Japan. It's 3 a.m. Ugh. So hopefully the Astros turn it around. Cheers to you, Casey. Thanks to you all, and I will see you tomorrow. And have a good one. Go Astros. See you tomorrow's.